Yes.
All right, so do you know the section where he says, you know, they didn't hire me for counterintelligence and black ops because I was hanging out at the Christian Science reading room? And if you saw that entire speech, it's a good half hour, 45 minutes long. I obviously have the unedited one, or I wouldn't have been able to put it into the film. It is very, very relevant that this guy is a black ops guy. He's probably had his hands in some dirty situations. He openly talked about being in combat and having to make a decision on whether or not to shoot an 8-year-old. Now, we don't know what this guy has done in the past. I will say this. He obviously saw something in 9/11 that was so disgusting and so disturbing in regards to Abel Danger that he blew the whistle. Does that mean he's not working for the government anymore? I don't know. I think we should take everything Anthony Schaefer says with a grain of salt, but at the same time, we can't shy away from having those people on because they are high profile in the sense that they are on the inside. So we've kind of got to build bridges. But I'm with you 110%, Brian. And again, don't take anybody's word for anything. Look into the situations for yourself. And like you said, he didn't really want to go there and really elaborate on what he felt Al-Qaeda was. Obviously, he didn't talk about Al-Qaeda being the name for the base, originally the Mujahideen and the Muslim Brotherhood. And he didn't even talk about the geopolitics that brought Al-Qaeda to us, essentially Brzezinski funding the Afghanis before the Soviet invasion and having them come in. Again, something we cover in Invisible Empire. So I appreciate the call, Brian, and I'm telling everybody out there, anybody who's on here, even myself, take everything we say with a grain of salt. Go check it out for yourself. Do the research. All right, we're going to take calls on the other side, but I wanted to play the intro from Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, shipping now from InfoWars.com and, of course, PrisonPlanet.tv in the highest of high qualities. Let's hit the clip.
Hi, my name's Jason, and I used to be just a good old average American kid living in upstate New York. There's me. I played baseball, mastered Mortal Kombat, went to the prom, said the Pledge of Allegiance every day, and loved my country. I even lived the dream of every American youth, college. Sure, it was a state school, but it also happened to be a party town. Great times all around, right? Well, sort of. I still had to work hard as a pizza guy to make it. And of course, there was school. I had to figure out the computer graphics programs I was working with, as well as attend classes I didn't care about. I certainly didn't know much about geopolitics. Then 9/11 happened, and everything changed. I was pissed. How dare the Muslim extremists massacre all those people? But was it all true? Prior to the invasion of Iraq, something didn't seem right. I then did a startling thing. I actually took a look at what happened that terrible September day. What I found horrified and angered me to such an extent that I took action. We were lied to, and lied to big time.
All right, folks, there it is, the beginning of Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined. And in this day and age, when telling the truth truly is a revolutionary act, looking into something for yourself also is a revolutionary act. And it can startle people. Oh, my God, you have an opinion on 9/11 outside of what the mainstream is telling me? Outside of what I see on Fox and Friends? Yes, because I looked at the evidence. And it was shocking. It was more than startling. It was more than disturbing. But at the end of the day, it was really a motivation for me, the little guy, the guy with nothing, the target of this new world order, the slave, if you will, to step up to the plate and say, hey, don't sell me short. I'm stepping up. I'm going to try to knock it out of the park. I'm going to take you on head on. I didn't know how I was going to do that. I didn't know I was going to become a radio talk show host and documentary filmmaker. I had no idea. I was doing this while I was flipping pizzas, while I was creating graphics, while I was out of the bar on a Friday and Saturday night, being the guy that nobody wanted to talk to because he couldn't stop talking about how evil the Iraq war was, how this was a quest for domination and a world government, how there are plans out there to microchip every man, woman, and child on the planet. They're not Jason Bermas's plans. It's not my conjecture. It's not my opinion. It, unfortunately, folks, is reality, and we blow the lid off of that very reality in my latest picture. All right, let's go to our next caller. Let's go to Chris in Florida. Chris, you're on the line. Yes, sir.
Hey, Jason. Awesome film.
Thank you.
Awesome film. I was blown away by it. I think it really picks up at the halfway point, because I know how you had to lay the foundation for it for maybe people who are new to the material. But I think you drove the point home, especially in the credits I liked, where you have a million people saying New World Order, New World Order,
and
New World Order.
let's talk about that for just a second, Chris. Let's talk about some of those people. Who are those people? I couldn't label all those people, and I'm sure people are watching it 5-10 times at the very end to see who those people are. Okay, we've got the head of Google, the CEO of Google, talking about a new world order. We have Hans Blix talking about a new world order. We have Bill Moyers talking about a new world order. We have Cornel West talking about a new world order. We have Dana Rohrabacher talking about a new world order. Byron Dorn talking about a new world order. Gorbachev talking about a new world order. Sarkozy talking about a new world order. Glenn Beck discussing the new world order with Saakashvili, and so much more, Chris. It is undeniable that it is not only their terminology, but in fact a plan for world government.
Absolutely. And I think what was really good was that you brought it back into the 80s for people that are around our age. I remember Oliver North when, I was very, very small, and, Reagan getting shot. And, I was too young at the time to really understand that. So I think what it did was, I didn't know that one of the guys that Hinckley's brother was friends with Neil Bush.
Yeah, and was going to wasn't only friends with Neil Bush, but he was on schedule to have dinner with Neil Bush the night after the assassination attempt. Well, you know what? Let's get into Hinckley on the other side, because I wasn't even able to go as far in any of these issues, folks. I had to condense this down to a 2-hour and 12-minute picture. You know how difficult that was? I cut over a half an hour. Easily could have a director's cut out in 2 months. I'm Jason Bermas. It's the InfoWarrior. We'll be back after this. PrisonPlanet.tv, Infowars.com. What are the chances that the man that tried to assassinate Reagan just about 60 days after he was elected into his presidency, not elected, but taken office, would be a good friend of the Bushes? And supposedly his brother was having dinner with Neil Bush the next night. And then on top of that, this guy was receiving phone calls, not in his hotel room, but by a payphone down the road. What I couldn't put in the picture was that his parents were all actually heavy funders of the first Bush administration. So we don't tie everything up, Chris, but we certainly put it out there for the world to see.
And also, Jason, I like how everyone always cuts off the clip of George Bush saying New World Order, and then they cut it off before he says 1,000 points of light, and you left that in. Because I just wonder what the mainstream public thinks the 1,000 points of light actually are.
Well, let me stop you again, because the 1,000 points of light, Chris, is now actually a foundation. I wanted to put so much into this picture, but I couldn't fit everything in. And Obama spoke this year with George H.W. Bush, a very, very old man at this period in his life, at the 1,000 Points of Light Foundation. I believe it's here in Texas. I have the video. I wasn't able to include it, and I wonder what people are thinking in their heads when they continue to use this illuminist and Masonic terminology. Appreciate the call, Chris. Let's jump to our next caller. Let's go to Todd in Florida. Or actually, no, you know what? Did we lose Pedro in Chile? We did lose Pedro in Chile. All right, let's go to Todd in Florida. Todd, you're on the line.
Well, I'm not going to bust your bubble. I'm actually based out of the Philippines myself. So, you still have an exotic caller on the line. I just said Florida because that's where I'm from. I loved Invisible Empire. I saw it as soon as you dropped it. I like the way you introduced it. I'm young, and I'm always looking at how we can apply, or appeal to the younger people out there. And I think by you just, putting it out there, who you were, what you were doing, and putting your situation out there in the beginning of Invisible Empire really set the tempo for the rest of it, just to be open and honest, because it's kind of like you put your profile out there for people to judge first. And, you know, a lot of young people are having trouble, you know, getting, you know, open to these things. I try to help people in the financial stuff myself, but I see that Al Gore is actually coming out here on the 30th in April.
Ooh.
And, you know, I was just doing some research and considering, you know, he's coming out here to a third world country that pretty much is completely westernized.
And let me just say this, Gore is in the news today, and I'm going to come back to you. Gore's in the news today. Gore takes cash for water campaign from chemical firm. And even the environmentalists are up in arms. These environmentalists understood what Al Gore is really about, cap and trade schemes, and they are schemes. They are taxation schemes for him to make billions of dollars, and he will take money from Dow Chemical without the blink of an eye because he's not a true quote-unquote environmentalist. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a part of what he's coming out here for is because it's really westernized out here, and they truly believe in this green campaign more than anything already. You know, they've already, you know, bought into it hook, line, and sinker in regards to, you know, carbon tax and all this other stuff. So they're definitely one of the third worlds I think that'll benefit from the money that's coming in.